Hi, how are you guys? It's Wednesday. It's that time. I really look forward to every Wednesday when I can talk to you guys and see you guys and answer your questions and I love showing up for you guys. So who do we got on? We got some people that want to learn about gluten tonight, about gluten-free eating. Wow, look at you guys showing up. Hi there. Let's see. Angela, Jacqueline, Mary, AJ, Lisa, Irene, Judy, Bernie, who else? Lavonda, Bev. Awesome. I'm sure there's more. I can't see everybody. I can't see everybody that's on, but awesome. So you guys want to learn how to eat gluten-free. So before we start, I'm going to ask a question. I want you guys to answer me in the comments. How many of you right now, you guys who are in my academy, you can answer the question, but I'm going to know what your answer is. But those of you who aren't in my academy, I want to ask you a question. I want to know if anybody is on a gluten-free diet, or if you are not eating gluten-free, and why. So if you are eating gluten or not eating gluten, what's your reason why you are or why you aren't? So I want to pose that question to you and have you answer that for me before we start. Hi, Susan. And the reason I want to know is because, and we're going to talk about this, trust me, we're going to talk about this, but there's so many people that think that that you totally can eat gluten if you don't have any symptoms of eating gluten, right? And there's a lot of people that don't know what gluten is, or they don't think it's a big deal. And then there's some people that think gluten is horrible and it causes them all these symptoms. So I just want to see where you guys are at tonight. I want to see where my crowd is at. Are you more on the side of, yeah, I eat gluten because it doesn't bother me, I don't think it's a big deal? Or are you on the side of, yeah, when I can't eat gluten because, it makes me feel like crap, or I just don't want to eat it because I heard it was bad. So I just want to see what position you guys are in. Lavonda says, yes, she eats gluten, never thought about it. Okay. All right. Angela says she still craves gluten. Okay. Where else? Especially want to hear from the ladies who are not in my academy. Although if you're in the academy, I guess I would be curious to know if you've been craving it a little bit more lately, or if you maybe before you joined the academy, were you a gluten eater or not? So we're going to talk about, so here's kind of the breakdown for that. We're going to talk about what gluten is really quick. And I'm going to give you some things to think about. Okay. Again, remember, these classes are never to tell you what I'm always going to give you my opinion on what I think you should do, but they're always here to educate you. They're not here to give you any sort of, mandate, right? They're just here to say, hey, here's the facts about the specific topic, and here is kind of what I teach and how to, create balance. The whole reason I do these classes is educate you on the more the holistic side of healthcare, right? Basically, that's what it is, right? So I'm not a medical doctor. I don't claim to be. I don't have a degree in science. I am just a functional diagnostic nutritionist with a holistic background that has studied nutrition for years. And I have taken classes in, holistic therapeutics, and I'm certified in that. And that's what I teach, and that's what I practice. So everything that I do in this group is to teach you on how to create balance in the body. And that's just how I live my life. And the reason why I'm so passionate about it is because I have been in a position where I've had some health issues. I ended up getting cancer in my life, and it was not a fun experience. Looking back at it now, I can say I'm grateful for it. But when you first get that diagnosis of cancer, it is a daunting, frightening, very scary feeling. Just like a lot of you in this group who were diagnosed with heart disease, or maybe diabetes, or whatever you were diagnosed with. It's scary, right? And so my whole life I've always studied, been a student of nutrition, been a student of health, but it was really when I got cancer that it made me open my eyes and change my whole position, even about nutrition, because I was confused. I've been exercising, eating right, so what I thought, pretty much my entire adult life. So how does somebody like me get cancer? It was confusing to me. I didn't understand it. And because my position is always holistic and I don't like to put drugs in my body, I made a really tough decision to not do chemotherapy. I just refused it. And so, that began my journey of really studying cancer and understanding the human body, and understanding how immune health affects disease and how your body can heal itself when you give it the right environment. And my environment was unhealthy, and I didn't think I was unhealthy, but my stress level in my life caused my body to break down. And stress not only causes cancer, but stress, chronic high levels of stress, cause the body to break down. And when the body breaks down is when there's disease. When the body is imbalanced, that's when there's disease. Okay, so it starts with one of the main components of your body breaking down is stress. But when your body breaks down, there's disease. So if you have any disease, it's never just one thing that's causing it. Okay. Mine happened to be, a combination of stress and probably some hormones. Well, I had inflammation too, because you don't get cancer if you totally don't have any inflammation. But my stress caused my inflammation, right? And those of you who have diabetes, you are probably stressed out. You definitely have hormone imbalance because your insulin levels are off. You have high blood sugars. That's all hormones, right? You have inflammation if you have diabetes. If you have fibromyalgia, you have inflammation. If you are on medications, you have inflammation. Your body is imbalanced if you're on medications, because medications treat, they don't fix anything. If you're not eating the right foods, some of you don't even know what foods you should be eating. And gluten is one of them. We're going to talk about it tonight, right? If you're not eating the right things for your body, it will cause your body to break down. Similar with if you're not getting the right nutrients. I really am an advocate of high-end nutraceuticals, not pharmaceuticals. Nutraceuticals. Nutraceuticals are the equivalent to pharmaceuticals in that it's nutrients, not medicine, not medicine. It's nutrient medicine, not synthetic pill medicine. So I'm a big advocate, and I've studied nutraceuticals for many, many, many years. And our body recognizes nutrients. Our body doesn't recognize pills and medications and toxic drugs. It treats it, but it doesn't recognize it and doesn't create balance in the body. It treats. Nutraceuticals, food, that creates balance in the body. So it's never just one thing. I have this hashtag that I use called never just one thing. And that means if you have disease, whatever it is, I don't care if it's fibromyalgia, high blood pressure, arrhythmias, PMS, diabetes, prediabetes, insulin resistance, what else? Arthritis, obesity, cancer, asthma, colitis, infections, injuries, psoriasis, whatever it is. All of that is your body's imbalance, and your body has broken down over the years, and it's giving you a symptom. It's giving you a signal to do something. And what most of us will do is when we get a symptom, we don't know what to do. We think that the only remedy is going to a medical doctor. So we get a symptom, we go to our medical doctor, and the medical doctor looks in his little book. It's like, okay, you got a symptom of gas and bloating. Oh, okay, let's put you on an antacid. Or you got a symptom of heartburn. Let's put you on GERD medication, right? Acid reflux medication. So they don't know how to balance the body through nutraceuticals and nutrition. That's what I'm really good at. And so my cancer journey really did help me to just solidify that and become better at it and be able to reverse my cancer without any chemo or radiation. I did it all through nutrition, supplements, and nutraceuticals. Not one toxic medication. No chemo pills, no toxic anything, no aspirin, no ibuprofen. I mean, nothing. I did it through high quality nutrition and by doing some of the things I'm going to teach you tonight. Okay. So, gluten is kind of one of those things where we have to kind of really understand what gluten is, because most people aren't aware. So tonight I'm going to make sure that you're very aware of what gluten is. And I teach this, and you've heard me say this before, but we're either feeding our disease right here, right? So anytime you put these kind of foods in your body, you're just feeding imbalance and feeding disease, or you're feeding health. Anything from the ground that is grown from the earth is nature's way, is medicine. All the phytonutrients and all the different colors of the plants and the vegetables and everything that grows from the soil, right? That's medicine for your body. But what we've done is we've processed it and we've made it in very unhealthy so that we can mass produce the food. And then we've made it into chains of, McDonald's and fast food chains, and have put tons of unhealthy chemicals in these foods to make them very low cost and very flavorful, because they put so much chemical and crap in the food to make them flavorful so that you'll keep craving it. And those foods are destroying our health. And, when you are doing that year after year after year, our poor bodies just can't handle anything. They break down. That's when the symptoms start coming and the disease starts coming. That's when you guys start getting diagnosed with stuff, is when, you don't get diabetes overnight. You don't get high cholesterol in a week. You don't get, high blood pressure in a month, right? You don't get cancer in a day. This stuff takes a lot of time to brew in the body, and our bodies are so resilient. Our bodies are amazing. They know how to heal themselves. They know how to run properly. We just have to take ownership, and we have to provide it with the right lifestyle, the right nutrition, the right ingredients, the right everything, the right, stress reduction. We have to just provide it with what it needs in order for it to run like it needs to run. And when we keep putting this stuff in, these fast foods and these packaged foods and certain elements that, like gluten, like we're going to talk about, or medications, it just continues to eat away at the body and break it down and break it down. So just being aware of that, it's important to understand that the good news is you can start to repair the body. And one of the first things you have to do is you have to really take a look at what you're putting in it. What are you putting inside of your body? Everything you put in your body, when you put it in, is it feeding disease or is it feeding health? So gluten is one of those products that are very bad for you. So I want to really quickly just explain what gluten is. It's in wheat. Okay, so that's what gluten is wheat products. And gluten is a group of proteins found in the seeds of grasses. And the gluten proteins in wheat is called gliadin, and barley, called hordein, and rye, cicoline, are damaging to the gut lining. I'm going to go into this in a little bit. So any kind of gluten found in wheat, barley, rye, and oats, any form of gluten is going to be disruptive to your gut lining. It's highly inflammatory because it damages your gut. It causes chronic inflammation, like these diseases, cardiovascular disease. When you have inflammation, right? I'm not saying you eat gluten is going to directly cause these. What I'm saying is when you eat gluten, it's causing inflammation. And inflammation is the cause of most, if any, and all diseases. Okay. So what it does is it triggers intestinal permeability in everyone. So I want to talk about this for a little bit, because a lot of people will say, I eat gluten. It doesn't bother me. I don't have any symptoms. Because a lot of times when people have a symptom, when they eat gluten, they go to their doctor and their doctor say, yeah, you probably have a gluten, you have a gluten sensitivity, so you shouldn't eat gluten or take a medication or whatever, right? But some people will say, I can eat bread, I can eat pasta, and I never have a problem. I don't have any symptoms. Okay. You might not. However, gluten is gluten. And what it does to your gut is going to happen to everybody. So it just depends on you. It depends on how much you have it. It depends on how long you have eaten it. But every time you eat gluten, it is damaging your gut to some level. Okay. So if you don't have a symptoms yet from eating gluten, you will if you keep eating it. It's just a matter of time. You will. Because gluten 100% will damage your gut lining, and your health lies in your gut. Your whole immune system and your metabolism and how you absorb nutrition starts in the gut. And if your gut is screwed up and your gut is broken, and you have colitis or leaky gut or any of those, every autoimmune disease is caused from leaky gut. It's caused from damage to the gut lining, and gluten is damaging to the gut lining. So a lot of my clients who have leaky gut is because they've had years and years and years and years of eating gluten. Okay, so gluten definitely is one of those ingredients, those proteins that will break down the gut lining. Okay, and here's what I want to say about that. When you eat gluten, it's breaking down the lining. So I want to give you a visual. I like visuals. Okay, I found some of my pantyhose here. I know, don't look too closely. Okay, so your stomach. Okay, your stomach, your stomach, your small intestine, and your large intestine. That's your digestive tract. So when you eat, food goes in your stomach, and then from there it goes into your small intestine. Your small intestine is where all your nutrition is absorbed. Your small intestine, once the food is broken down in the stomach, it enters into the small intestine. Your small intestine has a coating around it. Let's just call it that, and it's called it looks like this. This is the best analogy I can give you here. So see, this is a nylon, and you see how this nylon is that there's very tight junctures in there, right? And if I was to take this and pour water through this nylon, the water would go through. If I was to take water that had sand in it, the water would go through, but not the sand, because the sand would the nylon protection would trap the sand. That's what our small intestine does. If we have a good gut lining, when we eat the food, right, it's going to break it down into a liquid form, and then all the nutrients on a microscopic level that are healthy for us, minerals, nutrients, goes through the small intestine and into the bloodstream for your vitamins and your minerals, and then the undigested goes into the large colon where you poop it out. Okay, so when you have bacteria in the body, viruses and things like that your stomach couldn't kill, this is going to trap to make sure that it doesn't get into the bloodstream. So this is your protection. Okay, to make sure make sure food particles, like the food particles, don't get into the bloodstream, get into the body. So that's what that does. What happens is when you eat gluten, now your intestinal tract looks like this. Fishnets. See all the holes in there? See? So now when you eat and the food goes in, there's big particles of food, not just the vitamins and the minerals that your body needs, but now you're getting the bacteria and the clumps of food that go into your body. And then you know what happens? Your body has an autoimmune reaction. Your body thinks that undigested food that gets through the stomach lining is now invader. And so your body starts to attack itself. That's what an autoimmune disorder is. And that's what leaky gut will lead to. Leaky gut will lead to an autoimmune disorder. Thyroid disease is an autoimmune. Fibromyalgia can be part of a leaky gut scenario. Okay. And here's why. So your gluten molecule, so when you eat bread and gluten, that protein molecule, gliadin, this is what it looks like. So picture this. Okay. So this is the molecule of gluten. It's like a pearl necklace. When you eat that, it goes into the stomach, and the stomach is supposed to be so acidic that it's supposed to be able to break down everything. But the gluten molecule, protein molecule, does not break up. It does not break these little beads apart. So what happens is this goes into the small intestine, and it starts to puncture because it's trying to get through. It starts to puncture your stomach lining, damaging it. Right? Remember the nylon? So it damages it, trying to punch it through, and eventually that's what causes holes in your small intestine. That is what gluten does. And again, how long you've eaten gluten, how many years you've eaten gluten, how much you eat gluten, you are going to damage the gut. And depending on whatever else you're eating, depending on your stomach acid, all of that, you are causing small micro tears to your gut every time you eat gluten. So if you're not symptomatic now, you will be eventually if you keep eating gluten. Okay. So I just wanted to give you that visual because I just think that visual is really going to help you understand this. Okay. So again, this is that gluten molecule. And also you can think of it this way, like if you try to vacuum up this pearl necklace, what's going to happen? It's going to get all like caught up in the vacuum cleaner, right? Because it doesn't break apart. And that's what's happening in your gut. It's getting all tangled up in there trying to push it through. And that eventually will cause leaky gut. Okay. So when these are the nylons, this is the fishnets. See how tight this is? These particles and bacteria doesn't get through. When you have the fishnets, now all these different, viruses and toxins and pathogens and food particles are getting through into the blood, and that's what's causing a weakened immune system, inflammation, food sensitivities, male absorption, and nutrient deficiencies. Okay, so again, nylons, tight junctions, fishnets, loose junctions is getting through. Okay, so celiac disease, you've heard that term. That's what celiac disease is. Celiac disease is the term for a gluten sensitivity. Okay. So the symptoms of gluten would be this: digestive issues. So this is how you might know if you have a gluten intolerance. Digestive issues. So maybe you have stomach pain, maybe you have gas and bloating, right? You have constipation, maybe you have some diarrhea. So anything digestive wise, it could be a cause of leaky gut and could be an issue and a sign that you're eating too much gluten. So again, something to pay attention to. Hair loss. Why? Because when you are losing hair, you're not getting certain nutrients that allow your hair to grow. So if you're losing hair, you're not getting the right nutrients. Why? Because your gut is damaged. Your gut is damaged, which means you can't absorb nutrients. You can't absorb food. The gluten has damaged your gut. So if you have a lot of hair loss, gluten, celiac disease could be a part of that. Okay, because it inhibits nutrient absorption. Gluten is also very low in nutrients. There is no nutritional value in gluten whatsoever. None, zero, zilch, none, no nutritional value at all. Nothing. Okay. Which is also going to cause weight gain, because most reasons why you have problems with weight is because you're not absorbing nutrients, right? And your gut is so damaged that you're not able to release the correct fat burning hormones, and you're which is also messing with your diabetes and your insulin resistance. Okay, so gluten will potentially have that effect too, of weight gain, a gluten intolerance. Some other symptoms of a gluten intolerance would be skin rashes and eczema. So another thing to look at: headaches and migraines, brain fog, poor cognitive function, fatigue, anxiety and depression, mood changes and irritability, hyperactivity. How many of you guys have children and your children have been diagnosed with ADHD, right? First thing I do with my clients who tell me that their children have ADHD, I look at their food. I look at their diet, because I can guarantee if they have been growing up with a lot of buns and hamburgers and breads, they already are not able to absorb nutrients. And ADHD is 100% nutritional deficiency and damage to the gut. Numbness in extremities. A lot of times neuropathy and things like that are a cause of inflammation. So is joint pain, which is all stemmed from inflammation. So again, we have to take a look at some of these neurological symptoms too: migraines, dementia, neuropathy, schizophrenia. All of those are signs of inflammation. Okay, so we want to make sure that we eat organic. We want to make sure that we remove the gluten from our diets. Okay, so foods with gluten are, here's your foods with gluten: wheat, barley, wheat germ, bulgur, rye, oats, couscous, spelt, gram flour. These are all the foods that have gluten in them. And there's so many foods that have these products in them that you're not even aware of, and you wouldn't know it unless you read labels. There's lots of foods with hidden gluten, and I'm going to show you in the next slide what those are. Instant coffee, hidden gluten. Pickles, certain pickle products, you have to read labels, will have hidden gluten. Soy sauce, sushi, chocolate, ice cream, hidden gluten. And here's how you know. Here's how you know. Any of these products here have hidden gluten in them, because what has happened with the FDA allowing certain food products to be able to not show ingredients on nutritional labels. There's always a workaround. They cheat you out of knowing and understanding. They're not entitled to put the word gluten on some of their products. So what they do is they disguise it as a different name. And it's in a ton of packaged products, like especially like cake flours, brownie mixes, cereals, crackers, croutons, couscous, any breads, any oatmeals, any rye, all of that, that's just gluten. And even, and here's what I'll say, any products that say gluten free, I personally, I just do not trust the FDA. I don't trust labels. I don't trust companies unless they have the non-GMO and organic labels on them and the gluten-free label, because then they have to go through some pretty arduous testing. So if they have these two labels on them, okay, then and they say gluten-free, then I'm probably okay with purchasing that product or putting it in my body, because these two labels are proving that they've had to go through additional testing in order to prove that they don't have chemicals, pesticides, GMOs, that they're organic, they're under the guidelines of organic, and also they don't have gluten. So I don't trust any product that says gluten-free on it unless it has those labels. Okay. So you got to be very careful with your products. Gluten is in everything: medications, vitamins, certain vitamins. You got to, the very cheap vitamins that you go and buy bulk. You go to Sam's Club and you get a big, 10-pound tub of vitamin C. Chances are, if it's cheap, they've put, hidden chemicals in there to make it cheap to mass produce it, and it's full of toxins. Shampoo, Play-Doh, cosmetics, lip balm, lipsticks. You got to be careful. Okay. So here are some gluten-free foods: apples, avocados, tomatoes, bananas, peppers. I mean, this is a huge list. I'll post this list separately for you guys, but look at all the foods that are considered gluten-free. So for those of you who are like, what am I going to do with, my flours and my wheat and my breads? I'll get to that. But I just want you to take a look at this list. There's a lot of foods that don't have gluten in it. So why are you picking foods that have gluten in it? Just because you probably don't know, right? So vegetables and fruits and legumes, and there's some grains, like buckwheat and quinoa, that are okay. They don't have gluten in them, but all the other ones are bad. Okay. So what do we do then? So here are some options for you. First thing, you want to stick with this list. Like I said, I will post this in the group for you so you can print this out or have it by you. But these are for sure always gluten-free. But what do you do for bread options, cracker options, and pasta options? I want to talk a little bit about this. So for bread options, all bread that you look at in the store has either wheat, barley, rye, or oats, right? So what you have to do is you have to find a product that doesn't have a flour, that doesn't have wheat or barley or rye or oats. So for example, almond flour. coconut flour, right? Those two flours, if you can, find recipes like a bread recipe that uses almond flour or coconut flour, there you go. We happen to use a product called 90-second bread. If you like to make your own, just Google it. You'll find the recipe. It's called a keto 90-second bread, and it tastes exactly like bread. If you like to make your own bread, do that. If you go to the grocery store, you can look at, gluten-free breads. But here's the deal. Here's what I want to share with you guys. This is where it gets tricky and where there's a lot of deception in marketing and advertising. If you go and you buy if you go and buy wheat bread, and on the wheat bread it says gluten-free, it's impossible. You can't remove the protein from a gluten molecule. You can't do it. You can't. You can't. You can't. You cannot remove all the gluten entirely from wheat. So even if it says gluten-free, I wouldn't risk it, especially if you're super sensitive and you're really concerned about healing your gut. They might try to remove some, but they're not going to be able to remove it all. So you've got to be very careful as you're reading labels, that you look at, the ingredients list. And if it has any of these on the label, on the ingredients list, right? If you're looking at the ingredients list, where is it here? If you're looking at the ingredients list on that pack of bread and it says gluten-free, but yet in the ingredients it has wheat, or it says rye, or it says spelt or gram flour, okay, barley flour, whatever, that is gluten. So they can tell you it's gluten-free, because here's why. Because the government, the FDA, the standard guidelines are, if you say that you removed it and you've removed at least 50%, supposedly, they can throw a gluten-free on there. But you can't remove it all. You can't. So it's very deceiving. So again, like I said, if it has any of these in the ingredients list, no matter if it says gluten-free or not, you are getting gluten. Okay. So what can we do for, breads? Is you want to make your own using flours that don't have gluten molecule in it, or you want to just not have bread, which for some of you is going to be really challenging to do, but or make your own. Me, I don't like to cook, so I have to have things that are easy and very simple. And I just trained my body not to even desire any sort of bread. That's just what I do, but that's not for everybody. But you just have to then make your own or find something different. What about pasta options? So let's take a look at that. So pasta has a ton, wheat pasta, right? Oat flour pasta, all of those have gluten in it. Okay, so there's a couple different options. There's so many options now for pasta and healthier pasta. There is cauliflower pasta. There is these miracle noodles, which are made from a konjac fiber, and they're called shirataki noodles. And they're low carb. They're basically nothing. There's no calories in them, but there, if you use those noodles, it'll give you the texture and the consistency of a noodle, and then you can add your own stuff to it, spaghetti sauce or whatever you want to add to it. At least you're not getting gluten, right? So you can use miracle noodles, shirataki noodles. You can use cauliflower noodles. Okay, go to the store. There's ones that are already made like this, that you just pour into a pan and you heat them up, so they're already prepared, like these, and also like these, right? I have some here that are hearts of palm spaghetti noodles, and these are amazing. They're amazing, right? And I just I prepare these like a spaghetti, and this is already actually they're formed into the spaghetti noodle. All I gotta do is heat them up. I don't have to boil them or anything. I just heat them up, and then I can put a little organic spaghetti sauce over it, maybe with a little bit of ground turkey or ground chicken. I don't really eat much of that, but I could, and it would taste like spaghetti. And this is hearts of palm, but they also have these in miracle noodles. They have these in cauliflower noodles, right? So you just have to look. You just have to look. You just have to be aware. You just have to start to, look for different options that are going to be healthier for you. Okay. So when people say, well, I just gonna miss my pasta. Yeah, fine. You can find pasta that is gluten free, made from vegetables vegetables will never have gluten in them, right? That are going to be so much healthier for you. So there you go. And then crackers the same way. So any crackers that you want, they have cauliflower crackers that are made with, almond flour or coconut flour, cauliflower flour. They actually make cauliflower now into a flour. It's amazing. So you just have to you have to be um just be creative, and you have to be a little bit more aware by reading labels and just trying different things. Not everything that you try at first you'll probably like, and that's okay. Don't, just try some other things. Try some different types of pasta. Maybe you want to try miracle noodles one time and like compare it to the uh hearts of palm noodles, compare it to the cauliflower noodles, compare it to the, there's almond flour noodles. So I mean, so there's just a lot of options. You just have to look at them. There's also brown rice flour, brown rice noodles, you know um so there's just other options other than that list I showed you. Okay. So when you start to pull those things from your body, you're going to start reducing inflammation, and you're going to start feeling better, and you're going to start to be able to repair your gut. The good news is that if you have leaky gut right now and you've been diagnosed with leaky gut, it is serious. It's hard. It takes a long time to fix, but it is doable. But you've got to remove what's causing it. And gluten 100% is causing leaky gut. And you're not going to get better if you continue to eat gluten thinking you're going to be healing your gut, no matter how much medication you're on. Medication doesn't heal. Medication will treat the symptom, but it's not going to fix the gut. You've got to eliminate what's causing the problem. We got to find out the underlying root cause. And if you are eating a lot of gluten, you are damaging your gut. Okay. So you have to be aware of what you're putting in your body. Okay. Also have to be aware of what you're putting on your body and what you're surrounded by. Okay. The body starts to heal itself when you are very cognizant of what you're putting in it, on it, and what around it. Okay. Like I said, we want to find the underlying root cause. We want to create balance in the body. If you have a symptom is always a cause of your body breaking down. We're not supposed to live with symptoms. Our bodies we weren't born to live with symptoms all of our life, and we were born to be sick. We have been told and lied to and taught and scammed and given an opportunity to buy cheap food that's very damaging to our health. We've been exposed to all of that, and we've got to kind of take in charge of our own health. And the only way to do that is to become aware and start making choices to change it. Because I'm going to tell you something, you can't put a price on your health. And also, once you start to really get your body balanced and feel amazing, you start to want to just take care of it. You guys, when I had cancer, it was the thing I could think about was my poor body. Like, it was suffering, right? It was what caused me to get cancer, what caused my body not be able to fight that off. And I had to really take a long, hard look at what it was. And yes, I changed my nutrition, but it wasn't my nutrition really that was the main cause of it. It was because my stress level was so high, which then caused my um, um, immune system to be suppressed. And when your immune system is suppressed, it doesn't fight the cancer cells, doesn't fight off the cancer cells. We all have cancer cells in our body. But when your body is so stressed out, then you get inflammation due to being stressed out, then your body doesn't work right. So my symptoms, caught up with me. And my lifestyle, was one I had to take a hard look at it and say, okay, what do I need to do to fix this? And all I could do when I got sick was just to have a total shift in my brain saying, okay, I give myself a hug and say, I want to fix you, love. Like I really want to fix you. And a lot of you guys are dealing with that right now, where your bodies are you're in so much pain and you are so confused and you are so fed up with your doctor trying to keep prescribing you medication after medication. You are being told that gluten isn't a big deal. You're being told that you should eat 5 times a day. You're being told all these wrong things and you just don't know where to turn. I totally hear you. I get you. It's time for you all to start doing this. Start loving yourself enough to do something about it and start to, you know, appreciate that your body wants to work right for you, but it starts with you. It starts with you making the decision to do something about it. And I want to help you. I want to help you. When you go to your medical doctors, what do? They diagnose you, and then the first thing they do is they prescribe you medications, and then you don't get any other help. They don't tell you how to create balance in the body. I want to, once you get your diagnosis, and if the doctor prescribes you these medications, I want to help you with the most important part, which is to create balance in the body, which the medical doctors don't know how to do. They just don't know how to do it. They're not taught that. They're not taught that in med school. You guys are just not. I'm not being a meanie. Your doctor can be the nicest person in the world, but in 8 years of med school, he is taught how to prescribe. He's not taught how to create balance in the body. And I know this because I have medical doctor friends and I have nurse practitioners and medical professionals that do my program to learn about nutrition. So it's just the facts. It is what it is. So the ideal situation would be to have a doctor that is on board with you to do something, to work with somebody like me, so that you can learn, understand how to create balance in the body so you can start feeling better and healing your body. Your body wants to heal. And I want to help you do that. So I want you to get on my VIP list. If you get on my VIP wait list, then when I open up my academy, you will have the first opportunity to join and it will fill up every single time. It's not open right now, but I want you to get in line because I will help you. I will help you. Go to VIPwaitlist.com and then I will share with you VIPwaitlist.com. I will share with you and teach you and help you. I will give you recipes. I will coach you. I will help you. I will help you with your medical doctor, the communications with your medical. I will help you. I will help you. Okay. So I want you to understand that if you have been a consumer of gluten, you want to take a look at your food. You want to start doing a little assessment of your inventory of the food in your house. Or when you go out to eat, you want to start to cut back on gluten if in fact, eventually you want to eliminate it because it is long-term going to do damage to your gut. Okay, you guys, so I hope this was helpful. I hope you learned a lot. Let me look at my screen just to see if there's any questions that I might take a look at. So Debbie asks, how does gluten, like things like shampoo, affect our bodies? So your skin is your largest organ. Okay, so when you put something on your skin, okay, it takes a total of 7 minutes for your skin to absorb whatever it is that's on that. This is why, my opinion, I don't know if I should say my opinion, but most skin cancers are not caused by the sun. My opinion is skin cancer is caused by the lotions. Okay. Anyway, but I'm saying anything you put on your skin, it absorbs into the bloodstream. So if you're putting, chemicals, lotions, shampoos, whatever on your skin, it's going into your bloodstream. And when your body is absorbing those toxins, what does it do? It looks at those toxins as invaders and it starts building an immune response. This is why so many people have autoimmune disorders. It's not just from what they eat, but it's also what they've used on their skin. I have a quick story about that. So back when I had adrenal fatigue, I've shared this with you guys before in this group, but I had adrenal fatigue way back in the day. And I had gained 40 pounds, in like 3 months because my hormones were whacked up. And I had a really bad doctor who didn't know what she was doing. And she just perpetuated and gave me the wrong information. And I listened to her, blah, blah, blah. But when I did find out that an actual doctor who was willing to do the right test to figure out what was going on with me, to tell me I had adrenal fatigue, he did a test on me that showed that my progesterone in my body was through the roof. Like he said, the progesterone, high levels of progesterone in my body were partly due to my weight gain and my imbalance and me not feeling very good. You've got to have the right balance of hormones in your body. And I wasn't on progesterone cream. However, there was a hidden progesterone chemical in one of my lotions I used to use. And I think it was my tanning lotion. And he says, you need to take a look at whatever it is that you're putting on your skin because your progesterone is at a toxic level. And I would have never known that if I wouldn't have had him to help me with my saliva labs to show that to me. So yeah, so that was something I was putting on my skin that was affecting my body, and it probably had gluten in it. Who knows? Back then, what I know now is I'm so much more educated than I was back then. But I can guarantee I was putting tons of crappy stuff into my body that was creating an inflammatory response. So yes, we have to be very careful with what we put on our skin, what we eat, and then what we breathe, right? And so here's the deal, you guys. Here's the deal. We're going to be exposed to toxins. There's no way in the world we can be living in a bubble and not be exposed to toxins. But that's what our bodies are designed to do. Our bodies are designed to absorb a basic level of toxicity in the world when we breathe or if we're exposed to something, whatever, right? Our immune systems are designed to do that. They're brilliant at it. We have an amazing defense system in our bodies, but we want to try to decrease our toxic load. We want to try to increase environmental toxic load as best we can because it's just giving our body some help. Why purposely put stuff on your skin that you know is going to cause inflammation? Why purposely breathe things, secondhand smoke or chemicals that you know are going to cause a toxic load? Why eat stuff, gluten, high fructose corn syrup, all those that you know is going to damage the body and give your body toxic load, medications, why? So we have to just be aware of the toxic load in our bodies. And if we can take a look at what we put on, what we put in, and what we breathe, and just start being aware of it and start to slowly, eliminate those things, slowly over time, that's going to be better than trying to do it cold turkey. Because if you try to do it cold turkey, you will be frustrated and quit. So just take a look at everything you're putting on your skin and then maybe eliminate one thing at a time. Or same with your diet, right? If you're eating a lot of gluten, maybe you decide you're going to cut half of your gluten out of your diet, or every other day, like you're going to give your body a break. Maybe you start with, Monday through Friday, you're not going to eat any gluten for a couple weeks, and then eventually eliminate all gluten. I don't know. You have to figure that out. But you want to start to decrease the toxic load, the inflammatory response. And that's the first step in doing that. I have a whole program that will teach you how to decrease your inflammation because it doesn't happen overnight. People think, oh, if I just quit eating gluten for a week, I'll be fine. No, that's not how it works. Or if I just quit eating sugar, if I quit eating sugar, my blood sugars, my diabetes is going to be okay in a week. No, that's not how it goes. It takes time. And this is why you guys, a lot of you need a health coach like myself to help you go through a system and a process that will keep you on task and educate you on how to do this so that you won't quit and so that you will get results and that you'll feel better. And that's what I do. So get on my VIP wait list. And next time we open up the academy, I want you guys in there. Yes, Susan, charcoal, magnesium deodorant. Yep, exactly. Aluminum is a very toxic product. And so I also use it. I don't use charcoal. I should post there's a new product I just found called Lume. Have you guys heard of Lume? It's a deodorant that's all plant-based and I like it. So I've been starting to use that. Let's see. Oh, did I share the progesterone story in my book? I don't remember if I didn't remember doing that. Okay, cool. All right. Anybody else have a question? Let's see. I'm just going through. Looks like I caught them all. Leanne, love Lena. What a pretty name. I hope you learned a lot, Lena. Lena, love Lena. That's Lena, love Lena. Interesting. That's cool. Let's see. Anybody else have any? Irene did. Okay, Irene. I missed it. What is your retype it, would ya? I don't see your question. Irene. Retype it. Or Susan, maybe you can retype it for me. I don't see it. I don't see it. Can you retype it for me? Oh, okay. I answered your question. All right, cool. All right, you guys, I think that will be a wrap for tonight. I hope you learned a lot. And again, get on my VIP wait list, please. I just know that for those of you who have been in this group and are just kind of struggling with your health and you're not getting anywhere, get on my list, because when I open up the academy in another month and a half, you want to make sure that you get in, because it will fill. So have an amazing night. I will see you guys next week. Tag me if you're watching the replay. Hey, if you're watching the replay, why don't you go ahead and type in replay? I would love to hear that you've listened on the replay. And if you have any questions, just tag me and I will make sure to answer them. All right, you guys, have an amazing night. Get on my VIP wait list, and we will see you next week. Bye.